There are so many things I regret in my life. I regret eating all that ice cream just before my period started last week. Call me stupid, but I also really wish I had finished the chocolate I took in bed last night. Right now, however, I have an entirely different regret. It is not greeting Sarah on my first day in high school. Don't let her name fool you. She is not angelic. She had just tripped a kid when she came over and said to me, "Hey, my name is Sarah. I see you're new. If you ever want to have a boyfriend or boyfriends, or want to be popular around here, then you should be begging to be my friend." How do you get behind that kind of subtle threat? Naturally, I only stared at her for a few seconds before passing her. A lot of people burst into laughter. I don't think she's ever forgiven the fact that I practically humiliated her. A piece of paper hitting my forehead brings me back to the real world. I know who just threw that paper. Sarah. I know I should be calm and all, especially since she's the one who landed us at Principal Taylor's office in the first place. But all I can think about is how I am at the principal's office on a Monday afternoon. I open my mouth to give her a piece of my mind when the door flies open and Principal Taylor walks right out. "Come on in," she says. I am way too nervous to do anything but nod, but Sarah mutters a "yes, ma'am" before following that suck-up. Half an hour later, we come out of the office. I wish the floor could swallow me up. I got detention again. How many times am I going to get detention? This girl is going to shatter my record completely. At this rate, I will never ever get into any Ivy League. Sarah ignores the scowl on my face and says she will see me in detention tomorrow. Then she prances away. When I get home, my dad's car is not in the garage, so I open the door with my key and let myself in. I switch on the lights and almost jump out of my skin. My dad is sitting on the couch in the living room. "You almost scared me, Dad," I yell, waiting for him to smile, but he doesn't. I wait for him to say something, anything, but he doesn't. When I start to go to my room, he speaks. "I am not okay. Your school called again. Just how many detentions do you plan on getting, Summer?" He grates out. He takes another look at me and asks me to tell him what happened this time. "It really wasn't my fault, Dad, I promise. It's just Sarah has had it out for me since the beginning of the year." "Oh yeah? I wouldn't have guessed," he muttered, his voice thick with sarcasm. I smile and continue. "It was during our last class. She threw a piece of paper at me when I was painting. I knew she was the one, so I wasn't bothered. But she continued, and people couldn't stop laughing. She was about to throw another one when the teacher came to see what was going on, and she saw all those papers around me on the floor. Naturally, she assumed that we had been passing notes and sent us to the principal's office. Sarah had really gone out of her way to make me a social outcast. She had done so many things. She started a food fight in the cafeteria, got spaghetti in my hair, and somehow got me sent to the principal's office with her. She stole my clothes when I was in the shower after gym class. You don't want to know how that story ended. She's made me trip on the floor so many times. It's no wonder the other kids don't like me. I must be the stupid new girl. I make a face and Dad laughs when I tell him that I hate her very much. Since we are done with that conversation, we start to talk about what we should have for dinner. It is never an easy decision for us. While other families have moms to help with decisions, we don't. Most girls got to have their first period conversations with their mom, but I had mine with my dad. Talk about awkward. It has always been just Dad and I. I'm not complaining though. I know Dad gives me all the love he can, the love Mom couldn't give. Dad and Mom were dating when she got pregnant. She wasn't ready to have a baby, so when the pregnancy was over and she finally had me, she hightailed it out of our lives faster than you can say Jack. Maybe because I don't have any memories of her, her absence doesn't hurt as much as it should. When we finally decide on dinner, I head upstairs to freshen up. Later in the evening, I make dinner with Dad, and I ask him why his car wasn't outside when I came. He chuckled slightly. "Brad and I drove home together. He was going to stay for dinner, but he had to go due to some work emergencies. He took my car and we'll return it to the salon tomorrow." I nod in understanding. "You're wondering who Brad is? Calm down. Remember how I said there's no mom? For a very long time, Dad didn't date. I knew that at some point he was finally going to start dating again, but I didn't expect him to introduce a boyfriend to me. Naturally, I thought the world had gone crazy. My dad could not be straight one day and turn gay the next. "Summer, I am bisexual," he said, like he was talking about the weather. I kid you not. It took me a while to get used to it, but I am okay now. Brad is actually not bad, pretty laid back. They met at Dad's salon, and that's all I want to know. We finished dinner, and I leave my dad in the living room trying out braids on his doll. Yes, you heard that right. A very big doll. What? He's a hairstylist. He has to experiment. I tell him goodnight and head up to my room. Then I pick up my phone and dial my best friend's number. When she finally picks up, I tell her to open up her window. The window facing me from the house next door opens up and we both wave. Yes, my best friend is my neighbor. How cool is that? Unfortunately, we don't go to the same school anymore. Some things happened at our old school, and I just really had to transfer. No, you don't have to know what. Ever since I started at my new school, I have kept her updated about how much trouble Sarah is giving me. We never mention her name. We just call her PG, short for pretty girl. So when she asks me about my day, I tell her about what Sarah did to me again. Allie sighs in anger and tells me that we need to put a stop to all of this drama. I tell her there's nothing I can do, and that's when Allie tells me about her plan. The next morning at school, I start to dig up something solid against Sarah. Allie thinks if I have something to use against Sarah, she'll stop messing with me. I go from class to class without seeing her. Figures. The one day I need her, she's nowhere to be found. When classes are over, all I want to do is go home and sleep. That's when I realize I have to be in detention. I go into the study hall. No Sarah. Time passes and detention is almost over, and she doesn't show up. I am getting angry. She lands me in detention, but she doesn't even show up? I excuse myself to use the toilet. On my way back to the study hall, I hear something scraping against lockers. I peep around the corner and see red hair. That's how I know it's Sarah. I'm about to sneak up on her when I see some other random guy. She is kissing this random guy in school. I see this as an opportunity and pull out my phone. Then I put on the camera and take many clear shots. The guy doesn't go to our school, so I'm not worried about him. When I'm done, I clear my throat and they scramble apart. She gives me the stink eye and pulls the guy along with her, and they go wherever. When I get home, I call Allie and tell her I have pictures. She seems thoroughly excited. Then she tells me she's coming over with a friend from her swimming class tomorrow. It's time to get revenge. When I get to school the next morning, I see Sarah at the entrance. Her eyes zero in on me and she marches up to me. The first question out of her mouth is, "What did you see?" I feign innocence and tell her, I don't know what she means. "Good," she says, "and you had better not open your mouth if you know what's good for you." She flips her hair and turns to walk away. This sparks anger in me and I retort, I don't have to talk. No one would believe me anyway, but they will believe the pictures I have with me. She stops in shock and I smirk at her and walk into the school. Who's the winner now? Me 1, Sarah 0. I know she's worried because our school is unlike other schools where students are allowed to be free. The limit is hugging the opposite sex. If you're caught kissing in school or doing other stuff, it's trouble. If I take this picture to the principal, Sarah knows she's in for it. When she doesn't confront me for the rest of the day, I am on cloud 9. When I get home, Dad's not around. I am way too tired to cook, so I order pizza. I am eating pizza and watching My Story Animated when Allie and this mystery friend arrive. Allie steps in first and I smile. Then the smile on my face falls when I see who the second person is. It's Sarah. Several awkward moments later, we are all sitting down while Allie tries to understand what's going on. She seems genuinely confused, and I realize that I should have told her Sarah's name. But we've always had a thing for acronyms. She had started swimming classes a month ago, and she told me she had made so many friends. She must feel really bad knowing she's friends with her best friend's enemy. Sarah, on the other hand, doesn't look freaked out. She tells Allie there is no way any revenge is happening here, especially not when it's against her. Then she asks to see the pictures I claim to have taken. I reluctantly hand over my phone to Allie, who in turn holds it up to show the pictures to Sarah. We hear someone fumbling with the door, and my dad comes in with Brad holding onto his waist. "Hi, sweetie," he says, smiling brightly. "Hey, Dad," I say. Allie turns to say hi, and Sarah takes advantage of our distraction and yanks my phone away. We try to get my phone, but she doesn't let go of it. Everything is happening so fast. One moment we are grabbing onto her, the next moment she lets go of it and it falls to the ground. When we pick up the phone, we see that she's deleted the pictures. Dad and Brad look like they would rather not get involved in what's going on, so they tell me they are going upstairs to see a movie. As they head upstairs, Sarah stares after them, and I can see her mind working fast. Once they're upstairs, I heave a sigh of relief. If they had stayed any longer, Sarah might have figured something out. I might be okay with other people knowing my dad is bisexual, but not Sarah. She will find a way to twist everything. From upstairs, Brad shouts, "Summer, you should come give your dad a hug for me. We had a wonderful date." A glance at Sarah's face tells me she has figured it all out. With a sneer on her face, she asks if my dad is gay. Of course, I say no, and she tells me that Brad just confirmed that they went on a date. I don't say anything except he's bisexual, and she knows she is one. I am at her mercy right now. I have no pictures. Again, it was really stupid to hand over the phone. She can do anything she wants to do right now because she has the upper hand. Then Allie drags her off to the side and whispers something to her. Moments later, they break apart, and Sarah says they just made a deal. She considers Allie a friend, so she'll be nice. I don't even know what to feel. All I have to do is do a dare she tells me to do. If I do it, she won't mention that my dad likes men, and she'll stop messing with me. Basically, no more teasing. The idea of a torture-free high school appeals to me, and I say yes. She starts to think about what to tell me when her eyes fall on the doll sitting on one of the chairs. She looks at me with a mischievous smile. "I want you to call that doll Mom." I almost choke. The doll? You want me to call the doll my dad practices hair on my mom? She smiles coolly and replies, "That's even better. I want you to call your dad's doll Mom at lunch tomorrow in school. Make it loud and clear. If you don't do it, I am going to make your dad's nature seem worse than it is. You think you've had it bad? It will be worse when I'm through with you." Then she sachets out of my house. Allie looks shocked and repeatedly apologizes to me. I tell her it's not her fault. She didn't know who Sarah was, so it's okay. Some minutes later, Allie leaves for her house, and I hug her goodnight. Through the night, I turn and toss, trying to decide what to do. If I tell her no, she'll make my life worse and people will stay away from me. If I tell her yes, people will think I'm weird and they might not talk to me, but she will stop bothering me. When I get to school the next day, I have my mind made up. It's one thing to mess with me, but threatening me with my dad's romantic preference is just another low. My backpack feels heavier than usual, and I know it's because of the doll. During lunch, Sarah passes by me to her seat. She snaps her fingers, and I take it as a signal. The nerves start to hit. So I don't think, I just do. If I'm going to give them a show, I might as well make it worth it. So I get the doll out and climb onto the lunch table. I stamp my feet a few times to get people's attention, and they turn to stare. And I yell out, "Hi everyone, I have someone here. Allow me to introduce my mom to you." I raise the doll higher for everyone to see. I call her Mom. This is my mom. I hug the doll closer and start to climb down. Some people looked confused, others looked alarmed, and others look like they want to burst into laughter. I look over at Sarah to see if she's gloating, but she looks angry. I realize why when I hear some people clap and burst into laughter. Sarah did not expect this reaction. Neither did I. I'm on my way to having a fairly normal high school life.